Hello, everyone. My name is Stanislava Lukok, and I'm a founder of Natural Conception Awareness. I'm a fertility coach and naturopath, and a mother of two boys conceived naturally in my 40s after many failed IVF attempts and inseminations. I had suffered a couple of pregnancy losses, and I know what it feels like to lose hope. So I created this broadcast because I hope it helps you get some more hope on this fertility journey. I am extremely thrilled to introduce to you my guest today, Russell Davis, and I am going to invite him in the studio. Hi, Russell.
Hi, Sunny. How you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm good.
I am very happy to have you as my guest today, and I want to introduce you to our audience today. Russell Davis is a fertility coach and a cognitive hypnotherapist, writer, and speaker who believes that you can find a sense of peace and control over your fertility. Whether natural or assisted conception, Russell has helped hundreds of couples all over the world remove the psychological blocks to getting pregnant and move from despair to hope to success. Russell's personal and professional experience echoes his belief that too many couples go through fertility treatment unsuccessfully, and that the success rate of treatment is unnecessarily low. Mind and emotions played a part in his fertility journey, and when he found a place of peace without giving up, that's when the magic happened. They conceived naturally against all odds. So Russell helps his clients do the same, remove psychological blocks to getting pregnant naturally or getting the successful IVF outcome they want. So tell me, tell me a little bit more about what you do and what is cognitive hypnotherapy and how it helps couples struggling with infertility.
Yeah, sure. I truly believe that, too many couples go through treatment unnecessarily, and we were heading there as well through ICSI. And I believe the success rate of treatment is unnecessarily low because the mind and emotions are not factored in. So what I do is basically help people get out their own way, help people get their mind into the most healthy psychological state, which means their body falls into the most healthy state. It brings flow back into their mind, their life, and their body. I do that through a number of ways. One is letting go of the past, because our thinking about ourselves and life, generally, that's what we bring to our fertility journey. We don't develop new thoughts and beliefs about ourselves and life within the journey. It's such an emotional roller coaster. In my experience and working with my clients, you can see how it shines a spotlight on any limiting belief about ourselves that we've been having in the past, that we've maybe had coping strategies that haven't impacted us that much, often come to the fore within the fertility journey. So, for example, a lot of my clients have been very successful in different areas of their lives. They've been striving for that success, whether it's career or relationship, different projects. But that striving doesn't work for fertility. So I help people let go of the fear of not having a baby. Help people know that they're okay for who they are, and to come from a place now, that place now. So a lot of people want to have a baby, but what they really want is the feeling they get when they have a baby. Maybe it's a sense of completeness, a sense of purpose. I help people live from that place today. So they come from that place and bring their baby into that place, rather than thinking the baby's going to get to that place. And that involves letting go of the past, retraining the unconscious mind. That's where the hypnotic therapeutic approaches come in. And there's more conversational coaching, just helping people change their relationship with thoughts and feelings. They know they're okay, whether they feel okay or not. So it's quite a long answer, but hopefully that kind of frames it.
It's a great answer. Thank you for that. So I know you have a personal story, personal struggle with infertility. which made you go through plenty of transformations. Would you share your story with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, my wife was diagnosed with PCOS, and we thought at the time maybe we can't have children, and we thought we were okay with that. We're both heavily involved in youth work and children's work. Children are a very big and important part of our lives. So we thought, it's okay, maybe we can foster adopt. We thought we were okay with it. But my wife decided to go on a journey of health. She wanted to try and find a more natural, holistic way with dealing with her condition. So we met a gynecologist that actually believed that maybe she could get a healthy cycle for the first time. And he treated her mind, body, and spirit, a whole kind of sense of self. So he wanted to make sure she was getting psychological support as well as he was doing the physical aspect. And it was a bit of an eye-opener to us. And after 8 years on this journey, there was no reason why she couldn't get pregnant naturally. And it was funny at that point, we realised actually we were just kidding ourselves. We're okay with it before. And there's nothing more we want in the world is to have our own children. And as you know, on this journey, you become quite experts on this journey. And after about a few months, maybe 8, 9 months of trying, we just sensed there was something else must be wrong. And that's when I had my first test. And no one up to that point suggested I had a test if all the focus was on her. So I had my first test result and it was disastrous across the board. And it felt like a real kick in the teeth. It felt like we run a marathon, got to the finish line, got to the home straight, only to be told, oh, no, you've got to do it all again. And this time it's going to be harder. You've got to run backwards. And it really did feel like a kick in the teeth. But I was told that, male sperm regenerates every 3 months, and there's more things you can do to improve male fertility. So I spent 4 months doing everything I can to improve my fertility and stuff I truly believe can make a difference. Acupuncture, herbs, lifestyle, keeping the phone out of my pocket, all sorts of things. And after 4 months, did another test result. It got slightly worse. I didn't believe it'd get much worse, but it got a bit worse. So I gave up trying everything. I just thought there's no point. I can't do anything with this. I can't fix this. I can't change this. We're in the hands of the clinic, and the clinic we're exploring ICSI as our next option. But that sent me into a bit of a tailspin psychologically. I hadn't realised up to that point how much I was banking on having children for us to be happy, to be contented, have a purposeful life, all the things I kind of mentioned earlier. I hadn't realised how much I was living, I'll be okay when. It starts with a child. I'll be okay when a mum's happy with me. I'll be okay when I get good exam results. I'll be okay when I've got a good career. There's always the next thing I was seeking, striving for, to get a sense of peace and safety and security within me. And having children was the next thing. But I did what I call my kind of Project U journey now. It's about Project U versus Project Baby. And it sent me this whole kind of psychological journey. And I came out of that with a sense of more peace about who I am, where I'm at in life. And suddenly having children shifted from being a need to being a desire. Didn't believe that was possible, but that's kind of what happened. I talked about this place of peace without giving up. We didn't believe that place existed, but then we came to this place having done this psychological journey. And that's when my wife got pregnant naturally, against all odds. We were told 1 in a billion chance it could happen naturally. And it did. We weren't even trying, actually. We weren't even timing sex because there was no point. But looking back, I can really see, we can both see how our minds played a role in our journey. If we knew now, what we knew that back then, at the beginning of our journey, it wouldn't have been a 10-year journey. And I can look back and see how much all those things I was doing that could make a big difference. I still use that acupuncture in my life today. It's a wonderful tool. But back then I was doing it from a place of fear. A fear of not having a baby. And, if we do things from a place of fear, we actually just feed the fear. So that's what feeds my work today, because I can really see how much our mind and psychology played a role in our own journey. And I can definitely see that with my clients today. So that's kind of our story.
It's 10 years. I struggle like 5. It was like a journey. I can't possibly.
Yeah, and I wouldn't wish a 10-year fertility journey on anyone or 5-year fertility journey on anyone. But I'm really thankful about what I learned about myself and life in that journey. I do believe not only the change in mindset actually enabled us to have a baby, but I believe I'm a better father as a result. I believe I'm a happier man as not a result of having a baby, as a result of having those insights and reflections and doing my inner journey, letting go of those limiting beliefs I had about myself. That wasn't good enough, wasn't, didn't deserve good things, all those kind of stuff. I'm not a perfect father, don't get me wrong, but I think there's less unconscious stuff contaminating the way I show up that would have been there if I hadn't done that kind of journey. So it's almost as if it had to happen for some way. Yes, it wasn't pleasant by any means, but I'm thankful. I guess it's easy looking back, but I'm thankful for what I learned on it.
Yeah, that's what I say to my clients. If I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. I believe I became a mother at the right time, at the right. I would have not wanted to become a mother earlier because it would have not been this mind. So yeah, I want to tell the audience a little bit about how I discovered you. I discovered you in one of my darkest periods of my life so far. Big depression after plenty of unsuccessful attempts of the conventional medicine for my second child. So I just had a failed IVF cycle and I got really, really depressed. I was 43 at the time. And I was like, okay, I was told it's not going to work with my own eggs. So I need to move on to donor egg. I was not ready for that. So I was clueless. What's next? I was lost. And in that big dark hole, I started listening to a fertility summit where you were one of the guests. And the thing that really struck a chord with me in your speech was about this innate state of being okay that we have. And I was like, wow, it was like a light bulb. I didn't really need to look for the answers and didn't really need to figure how to dig myself out the hole. I had to just believe and trust that I am okay. I'll be okay. So can you elaborate more on that thought about the inner state of being okay?
Yeah. The way I see it is when we come into the world with what I call innate well-being. A baby, a little toddler, doesn't think they're not good enough, doesn't compare themselves to others, doesn't need anything to be okay psychologically. Yes, they need their physical needs to be met as a helpless baby and toddler, but they spend most of the time just being okay, just being present to the moment, just being that state of, okayness. I'm okay, you're okay, aren't we all okay? And then as you go through life, we can start to interpret things around us that start to question. And for me, when I explore those moments and those learnings from that young age, they're based on misunderstandings. Our emotional intelligence is not fully formed to later teenage years. So prior to that, the mammalian part of our brain is quite dominant. And that part of our brain wants the pack to be secure and our position the pack to be secure. And we misinterpret signals around us. Maybe, so my mum was very strict. And I started thinking, maybe she doesn't love me. When she's angry, maybe she doesn't love me. I know she loved me unconditionally. And actually her strictness, her pushing of us was motivated by love. So we start to develop what I call this contaminated thinking that says, I'm okay if this happens or when this happens. And that's our thinking. It creates our emotional state, it creates our feelings. But underneath all that, our true sense of self, who we are, is still there. This is like a brass band in our head that drowns out this still soft flute in the background that is our innate well-being. That's our essence. It can't be lost. It can't be broken. It's who we are. So I don't fix my clients. I help them come back to who they really are and connect to that true sense of self. That's the part of us that we kind of drop into when we forget to think about our thinking. It's that part of us we drop into when those moments are quiet. It's like when I tell people when they're feeling stressed or anxious, then a little while later they might feel much better and feel okay again. what have they consciously done to get back into that state of okayness? When do they actually notice that transition from being stressed to being okay? You don't, because it's natural, it's innate. It's just their thinking is settled down because they're not unconsciously feeding it anymore. And we go back to our innate state of innate kind of mental, emotional well-being. It's like our breath. We don't think about our breath. And if you exert yourself, you do exercise, it calms down automatically. And it's the same with our mind. We may get triggered, we may get upset, we may get stressed, we may get angry. But then it just calms down on its own when we allow it. But unfortunately, as adults, we're constantly trying to manage the state of mind, and that gets in the way from this self-correcting system, which is why those moments we find ourselves back into a state of peace or flow, we haven't consciously done anything to get back in there. We've come back to our natural innate state.
Wow, thank you. So my next question is about the importance of mind over matter. Do you believe that healing needs to start from top down, from the mind? And can you talk more about what happens, how our mind affects our biology positively or negatively?
Yeah. The one thing I say about mind over matter is I do believe it starts with the mind, but sometimes we hear the phrase mind over matter, it can mean focus on positive thinking or affirmations. It can be lens of fighting thought with thought. I don't believe in that. Because when you have fighting thought with thought, the kind of the negative or the insecure, the fearful thinking just gets stronger. So I don't believe we had to have a certain type of thinking. But I do believe our thinking affects our biology. But the biggest thing about our thinking is it's our relationship with thought, not the thought itself. It's our relationship with thought. If you have negative thought or fearful thought, the more you think that's a problem, well, that causes the problem. It's our fear about our fearful thinking. It's our anxiety about our anxiety. It's about changing our relationship with thoughts and feelings rather than changing the content of our thoughts and feelings, because that's impossible because we can't control our state of mind. So I do believe our state of mind does affect our biology. But it's not about controlling your state of mind, it's about looking at your relationship with that state of mind. And when it comes to the mind-body link, this is a well kind of researched area, for decades. Dr. Ellen Langer, I think she's just retired recently, but she was a professor at Harvard University. She spent over 30 years studying the mind-body link. There's plenty of research that shows how the mind impacts the body down at cellular level. Bruce Lipton, who's a cellular biologist, wrote The Biology of Belief. He can explain, he's like the biology teacher you wish you had at school. He explains it so well about how our thoughts and beliefs can change us down at cellular DNA level. So the mind kind of body link, or I say the mind and body are one system, that's kind of well documented in many ways. And even for fertility, there's some studies showing that actually it does affect your fertility. So there was a Harvard University did a study with Boston IVF. There are two groups of couples, one going through IVF, the other going through IVF, but having a mind-body program alongside their IVF treatment. And the group that had the mind-body program alongside the IVF treatment had over the double success rate on average than the other group that just had the IVF. So there's more research pointing towards how, this mind-body link, the mind affects the body. Oh, Stanley, I think you've disappeared, but I'm going to carry on because it still says it's live and the count is going, so I'm assuming people can hear me. So that's the mind-body link. And I believe the more our mind's in this state of flow, the more we bring a sense of flow to our lives, our body falls into that state of flow. The more we feel our life's on hold and our body goes on hold. Well, that's kind of exactly what happened to, I do believe, to my body, and I see that with my clients as well. So that's how I see the mind affects the body. And just see if Stanley reappears. If he doesn't, then I shall just continue thinking about other things I can share about the mind and fertility. And I touched on about it's not about fighting thought with thought. Because the thing is about our negative or fearful, insecure thinking is what's behind it. When I track a client's thinking back to childhood, where it comes from, it often is childhood. This is where you often pick up this contaminated thinking. This becomes our brass band in our head that drowns out this still soft flute of well-being. So the fear of not getting pregnant may be the fear of not being good enough, the fear of not being worthy, the fear of failing. So what's behind that fear is often an inner child. We call it inner child, unconscious mind. The part of us is like an inner child that is feeling scared or just needs reassurance. And if we notice that fearful thinking or the anxious thinking, often our relationship is resentment. We resent it. We wish it wasn't there. We think it's the one thing stopping us getting pregnant. We have this kind of resentment relationship with it. It's like resenting the little child behind it, when all that little child needs is compassion, understanding, and love. It's counterintuitive to think it's okay to allow this feeling of anxiety or allow this fear. We think if we allow it, it's going to take over and be really strong and overwhelming. We need to beat it. We need to be stronger than it. But actually, it's trying to be strong than it, trying to beat it, trying to get rid of it makes it stronger. And the more you know you're okay, whether you feel okay or not, the more you know where the anxiety or the fear, the negative thinkings come from. It's thoughts, it's feelings. They're not you, they're not life. The more you change your relationship with thoughts and feelings, you can know you're okay whether you feel okay or not. And it just moves on. And fresh thinking can come in. So again, it's about changing your relationship with thoughts and feelings, not changing the thoughts and feelings themselves, because you can't do that. We can't control our state of mind. We can't control our thoughts. People often think we're thinking beings, but we're actually beings that have thought. You couldn't predict your next 5 thoughts if you wanted to. Thoughts are very just spontaneous. They just happen. And that's okay. If you think about it, you'll get crazy thoughts if you're honest. No, I could be in a queue and be in a hurry and think, well, I push that person out of the way. I would never do it.
Hi again.
Hi, Stanley's back. Hi, I was just carrying on talking. I was just sharing other things around the mind-body link, and yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for going on without me. My internet
No, you're welcome.
down, and I had to restart the router, and I don't know, it never happened before.
It's fine. The live counter was still counting up, so I assumed I was still alive. So I just carried on sharing my perspective about our mind and fertility. And yeah,
you are fantastic. You just carried out without me. Okay, would you like to do the next broadcast on my page? I mean, that's fantastic. So, all right. Well, thank you for that answer. I am curious to watch and see what it was. Yeah, next question I am going to ask you, and I think you talked about this a little bit, but it's about a recent podcast that you did on the positive thinking not getting us pregnant, and not necessarily, especially the people that want to get obsessed with mantras and affirmations and trying to tell to themselves, I do need to think positively, but kind of forcing it. I know you believe about the thought being self-correcting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
How do we deal with negative thoughts? What do we do?
So actually, I was just touching on that actually while you're going. It's exactly that. It's trying to deal. If you've got negative thinking, I was just saying when you're going, we can't choose our thinking. It just happens spontaneously. So if you get a negative thought come into your consciousness, you don't have to get rid of it. That just comes fighting thought with thought. It becomes something else you have to do. And it's about being aware it's a thought. So I'm about to say, we'll get crazy thoughts if it's like I've been in a queue in a hurry. I could push that person out of the way. I'd never do it. I met a psychiatrist. It could be a zebra crossing. I think if I plough those people down in his car, he would never do it. Sometimes we get these crazy thoughts, but we don't give them a second thought. And they're gone and forgotten about as quickly as they happen. We don't judge ourselves for having them. That's the natural flow of a thought. If we allow it, they're like clouds on a breeze if we don't give them a second thought. But other thoughts come into our consciousness, like a negative thought about getting pregnant. We think it means something. We think, oh my God, I'm not going to get pregnant. The negative thinking. And we give more and more thinking about it. We have more thinking on top of thinking. So it hangs around longer and becomes stronger. What if the negative thinking is no different to crazy thinking about running someone over, or they're just thoughts? They're thoughts that come into your consciousness. They have no bearing on you, who you are, your ability to get pregnant, or your future. Nothing can predict your future, not even your thinking. So again, it's about me, it's about changing your relationship with thoughts. I don't teach kind of principles and techniques tools and techniques. I teach principles to help people see the principles behind their human experience and begin to see the true nature of a thought. But you don't have to fight it. So I don't believe we have to have positive thinking. And if you get negative thoughts, that's okay. Just notice it. You don't have to go beyond noticing it. The negative thought itself cannot impact your chances of getting pregnant. Now, your relationship with that negative thought, your fear about the negative, yeah, that can. The journey you go on with it, yeah, that can. And affirmations, yeah. I'm aware in this kind of world of fertility that affirmations can be very popular. I'm not a fan of affirmations because I think I touched on earlier that it's often done from a place of fear. And trying to convince yourself maybe something you don't truly believe. So you say an affirmation and part of your brain goes, no, not really. And what happens is you're inadvertently strengthening that insecure negative thought. And that's trying to change thought for thought, trying to convince yourself maybe that's something you truly believe. What I'm really interested in, if someone doesn't believe it, well, let's work with that part of you. Let's let go of that part of you. Let's help you realize actually you are that affirmation. And it's a place to come from, not a place to get to. And my tip is, if someone says an affirmation and there's a negative response within them, well, what's the judgment that's creating that negative response? Maybe you judge yourself as not being able to be a good mother. Maybe you judge yourself as not being able to carry a baby. Well, forgive yourself for that judgment. I forgive myself for judging myself as not being able to carry a baby. Or I forgive myself for judging myself as not being able to be a good mother. Whatever it may be, have some self-compassion. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of affirmations. It's almost like something you have to do to get somewhere rather than recognizing this is where you are. You may not be pregnant right now, but everything you seek beyond that, it's a place to come from, not a place to get to. And it's not fighting thought with thought. It's often affirmations are, or they're trying to be just spiritual bypass and not actually dealing with, okay, this part doesn't believe that. Let's go there. Let's deal with that. Because these will be affecting all areas of your life, not just fertility. And that's what I love about my work. It's not actually about fertility. A lot of people get on my email list, stay on it beyond having a baby because they realize read the messages is not actually about fertility. It's about how we're showing up in our relationship with ourselves in life as a whole. So it's about, okay, there's this limiting belief in you. Let's go there. Let's deal with that because it'll be benefits beyond having a baby.
Okay. And what do you think are some of the major psychological blocks that women and men on this burning experience? What are the most common that you see?
The most common, so for women, the most common I see women are typically, I think the way I'm going to answer that is, I often ask a woman, okay, what will having a baby give you? What will having a baby give you? And often the answer to that is love, completeness, purpose, belonging. They might not be the first words out of their mouth, but when we track what's behind that, these are the themes, these are the things they're looking for, whether it is family, whatever it may be. So for me, well, the limiting beliefs is they don't believe they're those things now. They don't believe they're fully loved and loved. They may know intellectually they're loved, but really feel it in their heart of hearts. They're loved for who they are in this moment. They don't believe they're enough and complete for who they are in this moment. They don't believe they have a sense of purpose and know what that purpose is and can live from that sense of purpose in this moment. So it tends to be kind of worthiness, enoughness, fear of failure. And when we deal with those, you can say you can live from that space, from this moment. It's a place to come from. And for men, in my experience, it's a lot of unconscious stress and self-confidence. They won't articulate that, and they feel stressed. Well, it's stress to be good enough at work or at home. The masculine way of looking at life can be very competitive. Am I good enough? I know for me, I didn't feel adequate amongst men, even before my diagnosis. And I think that can create a diagnosis, that can create an impact to our fertility. And then to get diagnosed in fertility as a man, bang, that can knock your sense of self-worth of the man even further. And then all sorts of things can be stacked on once you get a diagnosis. So for me, there was, don't believe I'm worthy as a man. There's a guilt that I was the one stopping my wife have a baby, the thing she most desired in the whole wide world. Guilt, fear of us never getting pregnant. I guess it's similar to a lot of women in a way that it's actually unconscious worthiness, that they're okay for who they are. And actually a lot of men are striving to perform, to be seen as winning at work and life through a very warped view of masculinity that comes from the media, from movies, from all sorts of unhelpful masculine role models in society, and maybe the lack of a strong masculine role model growing up.
Thank you. So do you have any particular strategy or anything that you have found helps the most when a couple or the woman most of the time has really hit hard bottom and is desperate and disbelief and hopeless? What do you tell them when they are at that point in their life?
I think that helping them see that glimmer of that innate well-being we touched on earlier, that they are okay. And I always think acceptance is the WD-40 of change. I don't know if you have WD-40 out there, but WD-40 is a can of spray oil. For me, that oils the cogs of change. Because I think that a lot of people misunderstand what acceptance is. From my perspective, accepting where you are today doesn't mean giving up. Acceptance doesn't mean you're never going to change, never going to have a baby. This is how your life is today. That's how it's going to be forever. For me, it's accepting where you are today and knowing you're okay in this moment. Right now, in this moment, you're loved. You've probably got enough food in the fridge, enough money in the bank. You're okay in this moment. Because what creates the despair is the idea of things never changing. It's all future thinking. But nothing can predict the future. So for me, the more I help someone come back to the here and now, we're designed for reality. As a human being, our operating system is designed to hunt and gather in this moment, to be in reality. All the resources we need, creativity, insight, wisdom, resilience, clarity, perspective, it's all here in this moment. So the more we come back to this moment and accept we're okay in this moment, as we breathe in this moment, we're okay. That's when we can start tapping into our more innate resourcefulness. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. Acceptance means accepting where you are today and then knowing tomorrow can be different. Knowing that you can't predict tomorrow. Nothing can predict what's happening in the next 5 minutes, next hour, week or next month. And it's letting go of that. Well, letting go of the future thinking. It's natural to have future thinking, but it's recognizing it's an illusion. It's fantasy. You know, stress, anxiety is the misuse of imagination. It's the misuse of imagination.
Imagination. It's as simple as that. Do you want to share a client success story, a favorite one?
Yeah, it's difficult to share. I've got so many. There's a couple come to mind. One of the ones I often share is actually what my first fertility client. Because I wasn't planning to specialize in this space. Just through my own journey, my own kind of Project U and realization, and I was a people pleaser, and I was at a job that really wasn't really me. I resigned, went on a journey to find out something more me. And I trained as a cognitive hypnotherapist purely for fun, to find out more about me, what I really want to do in my life, as part of my little kind of Project U journey on our fertility journey. And when I qualified, I realized actually, yeah, this is great. I can really help people, not particularly fertility, that didn't come to mind, bizarrely. I had our son by that point, so I had our son. But I wanted to help people with their mind and be happier in life. And the gynecologist we worked with all those years started referring patients to me, because again, he wanted people to make sure they had a psychological support. So Michelle, she was 39. She had 3 IVFs, failed IVFs. She came to see me just after her 3rd failed IVF. And she was desperate to do the 4th because she was 39 and she was scared the big 4A was coming. And there's unconscious, unspoken pressure from her family, her husband's family, because they were paying for the treatment, to crack on because they were scared that it wasn't going to happen. She's getting older. But she was in no place to go through IVF again, psychologically. And my first bit of advice was just go away and have a holiday. Don't even think about it. Don't even come and see me. Just don't even think about it for a couple of weeks. So come back in a couple of weeks and then we'll start preparing you for your next cycle. But we're going to take a couple of months to do that, to really get you into the healthy state psychologically and thus physically. I always say the more you focus on Project U, Project Baby takes more care of itself. And thankfully she believed and she trusted me, and we did that. And she went into her next IVF with such a different experience and was successful. Each stage of the process, she reacted so much more positively to the medication. She harvested a much higher number quality of eggs, and she was successful, and she just had a chalk and cheese experience in that cycle. Another one, Leah's story is on my website. Leah's fabulous, and I mean, she came to me because she wanted to get pregnant. Actually, she didn't want to do IVF, couldn't afford IVF. She didn't qualify for free IVF here in the UK, and she had all sorts of conditions going: endometriosis. She had a thyroid problem. She had a history of multiple miscarriages. And I helped her again. She really saw the whole vision of taking a step back and focusing on Project U. And we dealt with all that stuff. And the thyroid stuff as well, because that was psychological, stress, anxiety. And she fell into a much more healthy place. She found that place of peace without giving up. And she got pregnant naturally. Again, against all odds. The doctor's saying, for all these reasons, it's not going to happen, or you need to do IVF. And as an example for me, we had too many people go through treatment unnecessarily. And Leah is one of those examples.
Beautiful stories. Thank you. Our time is running out, so I can talk to you for hours, but I don't want to keep you more than the time for our broadcast. So I'm in a hurry to ask you my last question.
Mm-hmm.
Any final words of wisdom? Any special message that you want to send to couples struggling with infertility?
My final bit of wisdom is to say this thing out loud. Say this statement out loud, but notice your internal response. And the statement is, I accept myself as I am today. I accept myself as I am today. And then get quiet and notice your internal response. If there's a part of you doesn't accept yourself, doesn't really believe that, love that part of you. See it as an inner child that needs some love and compassion right now. For me, this is oils the cogs of change. So getting frustrated and annoyed with your fear and anxiety, give yourself some self-compassion, some self-love. Come back to the here and now. Love yourself in this moment.
Amen. That's all I can say to that. Thank you so much, Russell. Just tell us, where can people find you?
The easiest way is via my website, which is thefertilemind.net. That's thefertilemind.net. And they can contact me via the website, or they can sign up to get a free audio, which talks about the mind-body link a bit more, and they get my weekly emails if that's what they wish.
Fantastic. And you have a book that you published recently?
Yeah, you can get a book. It's called Conceivable. It's on Amazon, so you can search Conceivable by Russell Davis. Yeah, that's on Amazon.
Thank you so very much. And I'm going to post the link to the website in the comments. It's been such a pleasure to have you and talk to you, and hopefully I can invite you again.
Absolutely. I love sharing this stuff. I love talking to you anytime.
I really, really hope that we brought some daylight, some hope to the couples that are on this journey, and just know that whatever happens, you'll be okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Russell.
Thanks. I'd love to see you. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.